one thing that I always think about is like when we think about the language that was used when we were growing up is, we understood faith to be a personal relationship with God. Like it's between me and God. He saved me from myself, from my sin. And so I think like in our generation, what happened was I want to, I know that I need to invite my friends. I know I need to invite my family. I know I want them to experience this, but at the same time, as I think there became like this certainty of like, as long as I'm good with God, well, then maybe they'll eventually figure it out,
Yes.
Yeah.
So that right there, right? I think that's a huge thing for most people where they're just like, because especially with this next generation too, hey man, like I don't want to
impose.
Like I don't want to impose. I'm not trying to, and like if it feels like I'm being preachy at all. But I remember this, like I remember in college, and I had a roommate confront me about something. And they were real nervous to do it. And I just always remember that, like, I was like, oh, you love me.
Yeah.
Like you loved me enough to be like, hey man, like what's going on with you? Like this situation, and they confront, and you know what? I sat there, I go, yeah, you're right, man. I'm sorry. And thanks for loving me enough, right? That same friend, he was going to get married to somebody, and I actually had the same conversation with him and said, hey man, I don't think this is good. Like that was a hard conversation, right? And he was hurt, and right, but I have to love it, and Scripture affirms that, right?
Yeah,
it's like you want that kind of friend. You know what I mean? And yet we really, as much as people talk about love and hey man, love is love and love is, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yes. And can we love each other enough to like share truth with each other?
Yeah.
But then you have this other barrier with this next generation where they're not good relationally. No. Like there's gaps. And then especially if they went through, they all went through the pandemic.
Yeah.
They were isolated. They were like, and so this time of like relational evangelism, and it's even hard to say that word. Like even when you guys say it, because I was like, okay, do you guys evangelize?
I would say yes.
Yes.
Oh, you okay? Why? How?
Yeah, go for it. What do you think? Or do you want me to answer?
Go for it.
Yeah, I would say for us, so one of the things that for our marriage, like, and even we did this individually and together we do it, is like we are extremely intentional about the circles of friends and people that we engage with. So, we talk a lot about our life groups, our Christian, family and church people. And for us, we have made an intentional effort to connect with friends and build relationship with new friends that are not believers, that don't come from the church, that, for me, like I said, I'm at events where I'm meeting new people who get to know me, who get to know. And so a lot of that stuff is we invite them into our home, we have conversations. And so for us, what we have seen, like I have even better example is because I think about not just people who don't know God, but the people who, like we talk about, who've fallen off, right?
Right. Yes,
so we have friends that we've brought in that we've loved on. We call our house like the like the Planet Fitness judgment free zone. Like this is like you can come here and
Planet Fitness judgment free zone. Okay,
and we still serve donuts.
Yeah, we serve donuts and pizza every Thursday. And so, but when I tell you, like, the text messages that we get, the times where we've had, real honest conversations, the times where we've brought up like, hey, how's your faith, or these types of things, like, and maybe that's not evangelism in the traditional sense, but the thing to me of the heart of behind evangelism is you want people to draw near to God. Yeah. You want people to experience God in a way they never did before. And so when I've had like these friends say that you are the person who's like, shown me what it means to truly be a Christian, to truly be a believer because of the way that you've loved me. And so I think that's a way that for us, like we've been committed to saying we do not want to be the Christian couple that all is, celebrated and hangs out with all our Christian friends, but then we
one of
are
my
engaging.
Biggest pet peeves. I hate when we're in a season. Sorry, I mean, I'm using such a strong word, but I don't like it when because it happens.
No, you said hate.
Sorry, it happens. When we get into a rhythm of like, we're just hanging out with a bunch of people that like are just the same like this as us and just think the same as, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like being in a Christian community, fellowship, all that good stuff. Great. However, to me is like, we can only be there for so long. Eventually I get this itch inside of me of like, what are we doing here? Like there's more people in our circles. There's more people that we're connected to that we need to be bringing in. And so we've had those conversations where I've been like, how are we reaching out? And it's constantly it's constantly getting myself thinking of evangelism, of like, how am I continuing to spread the love of God here on earth? And it's hard. It's a constant question I have to ask myself, because it's so easy to get comfortable in my circle.
Yeah.
Because that's what is comfortable.